Graham, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yet another football season is upon us. Just from a personal standpoint, as a manager, as a player, do you still have that same buzz ahead of a new season?
Oh, definitely, 100%. It's what we do it for. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you have to deal with that you could park quite easily, but this part is why we do it. It's for the excitement of games. Certainly the first game of the season. There's always that trepidation, that excitement, all the preparation you've done over the off season, the pre-season, the players and everything. It all comes down to this point when we start. So, yeah, I'm excited as I have always been as a player or a manager because so I love doing it.
Amongst the excitement, is there a focus? Is there a drive? Is there an ambition? Is there any apprehension amongst the squad? What's the feeling?
You probably put them all in there. To be honest, all those words. I think you go through moments during the week. When you're training, you're playing, you're practicing for the games, and I think that you'll be confident, and then you'll make a mistake, and you'll think, I need to be better for Saturday, all that sort of thing. So you go through it all. But the players have done the preparation. They've worked hard physically. They know tactically what we want to do in and out of possession. They're still coming together as a new group because it is a new group, even though we haven't gone out and chucked in a load of players. We've been quite specific with our recruitment, but you still, when there's a new summer, there's people gone, people come into it, and that bonding together takes a bit of time. So, but they're making good strides on that side of it as well. And but yeah, I think we're as prepared as we need to be right now. We're still not the finished article. I think that comes with games and relationships and understanding of each other. But we certainly made real good progress over the 5 weeks of pre-season up to this point, without a shadow of doubt. That's been quite easy to see.
Have you got out of pre-season what you wanted to get out of pre-season? Have you got into the players what you wanted to get into them?
Yeah, pretty much. I think we're at this stage, apart from Callum Johnson, who's now training with us, so we do have a full quota of the squad. He's the only one really that's not been part of pre-season. There's been a couple of boys early on, but the majority have got through the 5.5 weeks up to this point. They know what we want as a from the tactical side, the sort of the idea of what we want to do, how we want to play, not the actual detail of it, but in the spirit, the emotion of it. I think from my side, I wanted as many players to complete pre-season as possible, which they have done. We wanted to get games where we were challenged and tested, which we have done, and I wanted to see a progress from game 1 to game 5 and game 6, and we've had that as well. So, we've had difficult moments early on in pre-season with the games, the performances and bits and that, but it gave us the opportunity to fix things before the business starts, and that's what pre-season is about for me. That's why we purposely fatigued them, stressed them going into the games. I think us fully fit and fully motoring would have dealt with those games better, but I didn't want it to be that. I wanted us to be exposed to not only the physical side of it and then making mistakes, but also the mental side of it, that when you're tired or fatigued, can you still make the right decisions? And if you approach it in the wrong way, you won't. But if you get strong in your mind and you go, no, I still know what I need to do, then you're prepared for a season. And I think the majority of the players are in that moment.
I want to focus, if I can, on the physical aspect of the pre-season, because I know that's pretty much been a headline of what the work has been for the players and getting them through that mental side of things, as you've mentioned there. Just how important was that for you to address the physical aspect of this team from a fitness standpoint, from a robustness standpoint, making them ready for a 50-plus game season? Well,
look, it's I think sometimes there's too much stress put on the physical aspect. I don't think there's a manager in the game that doesn't want his team to work hard. I don't think there's a supporter that supports their team that doesn't want to see their team work hard. I think we want to be consistent with our performances, which, if you can take out the physical element of being fatigued, then that's one step further to being consistent. We don't want to carry a big squad. We want to have quality over quantity. So we need our players to be ready for 50 games, all of them. And you don't do that by just going on first day of the season going, right, I think I'm going to play 50 games. You have to put an awful lot of work and preparation into getting your body and your mind into that to that level. And it's not only the pre-season; it's the off-season program that the lads completed. They had a real good chunk of rest. Then they had the off-season program, which they adhered to and did really well. So we were at a good starting point when we came into pre-season, from my perspective, because I've got the data from all my teams going back 10, 11 years. So in comparison, they were in great shape. And then we could do the work that we needed to do. And we were doing tactical work from day one. So, listen, we were working hard physically, but we were doing tactical work from day one as well. So it wasn't a boot camp. I know the players might, imagine that it was harder than other people's and stuff like that. But look, what I was delighted with was their commitment to it, their resilience, and they only got through it because they prepared right and they committed to it, and then they recovered right. It's because of their mindset in between the sessions, in between the days. They were doing the right things to be prepared for the next one. That's what the season is going to be. It's going to be hard game after hard game after hard game. So if we go hard game, then the next one will be easy. We won't prepare right. We'll fall down. We'll get beat, and then we're chasing it. So we prepare the players. We've done it in pre-season. They knew it was going to be another tough day, then another tough day, and then another tough day. So what they did in between was prepare themselves for it. They've got to buy into that during the season. So each game, tough game, we win. Next week, it's going to be a tough game. Do the right things preparation-wise. All those things, they come into it over. If you want consistency, and what we do know is us at our best. We've good players out there, can beat anybody, but we haven't done that enough as a club for 5-6 years. So let's get to the bottom of it. But let's not have any weakness in our makeup. Let's not go, we're great at this, but we're a little bit poor at that. Let's just be good at everything. So for me, pre-season is the only time you get to get the proper basis to be fit for the course of the season. You can't get it in October or November. And unfortunately, with all sports science, no one's invented a pill that you can take and you're fully fit. You have to put the yards in. And the players have done that, so every credit to them.
When you think back to then last season and the time that you came into the football club, November, and the way in which the season unfolded, and you did get so close, but there was almost an element of you were always chasing.
Yeah.
Was there at times when you thought, God, I wish I could get to that pre-season point where I can get that work into them. I want to have them in the way that I would like them to be and have that opportunity?
Only after the last game. There's no way I was thinking about this season when we had that season to fight for. So it was only when, you're right, we did go so close on two fronts in the cup and the league. And I can't look back and say we should have done, could have done this. I just know, right, this is it. It's a line in the sand. This is what we're doing from now on. And that was it. It was a complete start, fresh start. I didn't want to take anything that from last season into this if it wasn't going to help us win games of football. So there was a lot of work on and off the pitch. And, there was no point during last season where I was thinking about this season at all, because it was right there in front of us. And what I know in football is you can't have an opportunity for success and think, I'll just try it next year. You have to take every opportunity or potential opportunity while it's right there. We wouldn't be doing our jobs right if we weren't taking those chances. And but what we did was we went close, and at the end of the season gave us real belief and hope for the next season. I think the fans bought into that. The players did, certainly the staff, myself, gave us belief that there's a core of good players there. If we do the right things, if we improve that group as individuals, if we add into it, then hopefully we'll be in a better place at the end of next season.
I know it's their job. I know they get paid to play football. I know they get paid to train. But they've clearly bought into what you've been asking from them, and that takes extra effort, that takes extra drive. That must be pleasing from your perspective, that there's been a real drive and motivation to work not only in the pre-season programme but clearly in the off-season schedule as well.
The off-season programme pleased me more than the pre-season, to be fair, because we didn't have them physically. We put on the sessions, we kept in touch with them and all that sort of thing. Listen, there was a couple we had to chase and make sure, but that was making us sort of have an idea, actually, are you going to be prepared to do what it takes to win when we get into the season? So even then it was still a test for the players and for us, but I was delighted with that. But it was a good start, which I said to them on day one, that's a good start, right, that's step one. Now pre-season step two. Look, in my experience, players want to win. That's it. supporters want to win. It's just making sure they understand what is needed to then go and win consistently. And if your preparation and your commitment isn't right, you will win, lose, draw, because it will be up and down. So we speak to them, we let them know why we do these things and the purpose of the work that we put in. And it's all with the element of winning and making them better players. I'd find it hard for a player to come into an office and say, I don't want to be better and I don't want to win. I think, who's going to come in and say that? I don't think they do. So we've got to bury into their sort of gut feeling, their emotion, and bring out that winning mentality, but day in, day out. So we're consistent with it, how we want to train. We're consistent with our messages. We're consistent with how we approach every day. That every day is an opportunity to improve, to be better. And we hold people accountable to that. So we will speak to players where we think they're going under the bar and letting their teammates down, because ultimately this is a team sport. You are going to let yourself down, but I think emotionally, if you're letting your teammates down, that's not a good place to be for a player. So or a staff member. So what we do is try to buy into that try and create that team ethic, that team spirit, and they all need to understand that they're all part of it. There'll be disappointed players this week when we name the team to start on Saturday, but if they think they're not going to have a massive involvement this season, then they're doing themselves a disservice because they won't be prepared for when they get the game time.
I know I've focused a lot there on the physical side of things, and I suppose the psychological side of things go hand in hand with the physical side of things, but from a psychological standpoint, and I know the home form was a factor last season, and that definitely improved towards the back end of the season. How much has that been a part of the conversation for you and Chris when speaking to the players throughout the last month or so?
We haven't mentioned any specifics like that, our home form or away form or this, that, We've just focused on what we have to do. So if I was talking about the home form, I'd be talking about the past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and I'm just thinking about this is a fresh start. I want it to be a fresh start. So look, we know of where this club has struggled in the last 5 or 6 years and potentially before that. But it's not a weight these players should carry around. That's what I think. I think they should go into this right. I think we've got to recognise the challenge of when teams come to Valley Parade, and there is a different challenge. So okay, let's just focus on what you need to do better to overcome that instead of using an excuse to not be successful. That's the thing. So that's going to be the challenge. So we're well aware of the challenge of when teams come to Valley Parade. Okay, what do we have to do to be better than that? Because that's the challenge of all professional sport. You watch the Olympics, everything. It's about overcoming what you're going to face. And we know at Valley Parade we face maybe a different animal. So, okay, instead of going, we didn't expect that, well, let's expect it and let's prepare for it and let's be better than it. So, but I haven't, not once have I sat down with the players and say we have to be better at this place rather than this place. We want to be consistent away from home as much as home, or vice versa, sorry. And we want to go into every game asking ourselves a question, can we win this game of football? And we need to be able to answer it yes. That's all it is, and take it step by step. So that's how we're going to focus this season.
Recruitment.
Yep.
Are you pleased with what you've done so far? How would you assess what you've been able to achieve?
Yeah, really pleased. We were really specific with what we wanted to change, who we wanted to bring in, what profile of player we wanted to bring in. I think we managed to do that so far. And we did it reasonably early, which gave us a good basis to go from the start of pre-season. So we had the majority of the players here ready. I still felt we had the good core of a squad already from how we competed and certainly finished the season. I still think we're 2-3 players away from being the finished article of a squad. But I think each player they've come in, they've got their own history, they've got their own winning history. If you look at the players that we brought in recently as well, not 10 years ago or 8 years ago, but recent, I think that's important. And that when you walk in a door as a new player, I think the other players need to look at you and nod their head thinking, yeah, he's going to help us win. Like I say, they all want to win. If you see a player walking and go, I think we've got a better chance of winning when he comes in, then that's great for us. And it's added competition, and we need competition. If there's a player in that squad that isn't prepared to go, I'm up against him for my spot, and wants to be guaranteed a position, we're not in the team, we're not going to be the squad we need to be over 40 games or 50 games, because I've looked at all the data of the promoted teams now. There's not many players that start over 40 games in those teams.
Yeah.
There's 20, 24 players that contribute to winning teams. So the players have to buy into that. I expect disappointment. I'd hope for disappointment when they're not starting. But then there's a respect for your teammates, there's a respect for the team, there's a respect for your job to be ready to contribute and help this team. That's what I look for in individuals. But I definitely expect disappointment from not being a star. As long as you put the work in to be that star, not trundled through training and then go, why haven't I been picked? I can make it quite clear why you haven't been picked. You know what I mean? So, but I think we've got a good group of players that are buying into that competition, and when you bring new players in, there's a bit of time where it's bubbling around and a bit of uncertainty. But I think the players are understanding now that we're getting a better group, and a strong group, and they need to lean on each other and support each other and push each other in training. We talk about the competitive levels in training. If we can compete against each other every day, we'll be making each other better. And the game should be, or hopefully, easier than the actual training sessions in an intensity sort of manner. So that's what we're trying to do. We're not, like I say, we're not the finished article yet. There's still progress to be made, but we've certainly made real good steps on that side.
From a budget standpoint, FFP thrown into that mix as well, to achieve the further business that you hope to achieve, what more can you bring in before someone has to leave to free up space?
Yeah, I think it's right on the limit. I think we have to trade.
Yeah.
I think we have to trade. If it's FFP, SCMP, there's VAT, there's loads of letters and words going around. And I'll be honest, I'm a football manager and I want to stick to that. So when I get told something that, I just take it for what it is. You know what I mean? I don't dig into it because it's not my business. But look, everyone here, you know, the owner, Ryan, David, Genty, myself, Chris, all the staff, we're determined to be successful. We know we all want the same thing. We all want to add value to this club and be part of a winning culture here. So, but yeah, we've got the numbers are good in our squad at the moment. You know, so numbers wise, I wouldn't like to add to it without moving people on. But financially, I think we're around that point as well. So. Yeah, there's probably a little bit of trading to do between now and the end of this month.
We spoke with David last month and he was clear that the players who may not have a future at this football club have been told, their agents have been told, they understand the landscape right now. Are you any closer to moving players on? Have there been any developments without being specific, without naming names? How is that looking at the moment?
I couldn't tell you how close we are. I think that we wanted to be honest with players, you know, at the end of last season, at the start of the summer, and then there's a couple that we wanted to assess them in pre-season whether they would be competitive for our first team or not. So we've had another further couple of conversations, but I can't tell you how much sort of speculation there is from other clubs for some of our players, but we have had a couple of inquiries about a couple of our players in the last week, but only in the last week, not prior to that really. But that was I think Monday I heard that, but since then I've not heard anything else, so it must have gone quiet. I only want the information that's necessary really. I don't need every phone call relayed to me and stuff like that, because I'm too focused on the team. But if there was anything significant, then I'd know about it. But at the minute, no, everyone's available to play on Saturday.
Okay, I have to ask this next question, just to be specific about one player, because their name has been reported lately.
Yep.
Jake Young, seems to be talking about him every transfer window.
Yep.
There has been a report to suggest that a League One, if not two League One clubs, are looking at him. From your understanding, what is the situation with Jake? Is there truth in that report? What's your understanding?
Yeah, that's what I heard on Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the information I got, that there's a couple of clubs that have inquired about him. But like I said, I've not heard anything since Monday. I had a chat with Jake on yesterday, I think it was, or it might have been Monday, can't remember which day it was, Monday or Tuesday, just about his situation, just so we have clarity. So he has clarity from me, I have clarity from him. Because I just want to have that communication with people, and so it's an ongoing thing. But he's available. He's trained today. He's not missed a session for us. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that was the inquiry we had on Monday. I think, or it might have been over the weekend, but I found out about it on Monday.
Okay. That's one from me. MK Dons.
Yes.
Front runner for this league, as are you, as are a number of teams
Yeah.
in League Two. Double-ended question. First one being, what do you make to the level of League Two this season when you see what other teams have done recruitment-wise and how they're shaping up? Second question, to throw it in, MK as a team, given that's who you're playing next, what do you make to them specifically?
Look, League Two, I think, is always a competitive. I think it's the most open division out of the EFL divisions. To be fair, I think teams come from nowhere one season to then go and win promotion, and the season after, I think there's such turnover of players and so forth that it can be a fresh start for every club. If you look at Crawley last season, for instance, and clubs before that, the season before, where they've turned their seasons upside down and been successful. So for me, the only thing I've focused on is improving our team. I can't say I've been looking around League Two and seeing, they've got him. I just want to focus on who we've got and look at my players and assess my players. And I think we're in a good position. MK 100% will be one of the favourites in this division, and they have the same ambitions as us. They've recruited a lot of players over the summer. I think there's been a significant turnaround in their squad. Their shape and their formation, their style of play still stays the same, obviously with the same coach. So we've obviously got the experience of playing against them last season, but I would think there'll be quite a significant change from the actual personnel in that formation. So they'll work the ball. They'll try to create overloads and rotations and suck you into the press. So we've watched enough of them this week, as we always do with any opposition, but we've only watched them this week because we're focused on game by game. But we have to make sure what we've done is focus on the last 2 days especially is us in possession, and us how we can create and how we can attack and how we can retain possession and work the opposition. So it's important that we have full belief in us and ourselves and what we are as Bradford City first and foremost before we even look at the opposition. But we've done our due diligence and our analysis, and we'll prepare accordingly on Friday now, going into the game on Saturday. But it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be two good teams with high ambitions, but I don't think we're the only two teams in the division with those sort of that feeling.
Thanks, Graham.
Okay, mate.
Saying going back, obviously the turnover in the division, I think MK brought in 11 players, Morecambe have brought in hundreds. Swindon, a lot of teams, Newport, I think, Colchester, a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a opposition manager, you're sort of looking at the division itself, as you say, teams can spring up out of nowhere. How easy is it to sort of do your background, particularly early in the season when it's literally brand new squads?
You can only take off, look, if the coach stays the same, usually they've got a way of playing, so you can sort of take a little bit from that. Any pre-season games you can get your hands on, certainly the latter part of pre-season that you can analyse, which we've done, and then it's into season and see what you get. Really, I think you're right. I think the opening 10 games can throw up anything. I think everyone, there won't be a club in this division that hasn't got ambitions. Even teams that are just coming to this division thinking, could we get in the playoffs? Could we do this? That's how competitive this division is, and I think and how open it is, and the turnover of players I think does help that scenario when you go from one season to the next and just completely revamp your squad, or hang on to it like we did a little bit because we felt we had good players here, and players under contract. So I think you can do enough to be competitive, because both teams have the same issue. Both teams have a lack of actual league games to focus on. But like I say, 85% of our game is our game, and we'll stay the same week in, week out. It's the 10-15% extra where the opposition comes into it, and you have to take into account what they do in and out of possession, and can we take advantage of it.
Obviously, MK themselves, they play, as you say, a very specific sort of way. It's sort of very different. It's a very different challenge, perhaps, to what you'll be up against most weeks in this league, isn't it?
I think that used to be the case. I think it's getting more and more possession-based game. I think if you look at the teams and look at Crawley last season, really good. I think even the teams at the top, certainly Stockport, that were decent possession, but they could hurt you physically as well and stuff like that. So I think there's loads of good teams at this level, and I think throughout the EFL, I think the game has changed certainly in the last 10 years and probably even more in the last 5 years. There's a lot of good technical players out there. There's a lot of good technical coaches out there. But sometimes the pressure then of results then makes it sort of go away or change and defer to a different way. So I think there's, look, MK have got a reputation and had it for 20 years, basically, of a side play in essence. So, but I don't think they're the only ones playing that way. If you look how Crawley went up last season, how they played, it was very much a possession-based team and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good teams out there, and but we have to play our way. And listen, we've got good ball players. We have players who can hurt teams with the ball as well, and that's what we've been talking about. We've stressed it a lot. I think the way we played in the last 7 games was the blueprint for us going into the season, and you saw how well we used the ball at that time, and we've committed to that way of playing. We don't want to. Listen, I understand and I get it. We were a little bit more direct than that before, and it got us good results as well. But when we missed a couple of players, we didn't get it, and we've tried to go right. This is how we're going to play next season. We did think about that next season at that moment after the Harrogate game. So that was the one moment where we went, right, we're preparing for next season, as in we're going to play the way we want to play, and we're going to see who can play that way. And we're going to go and, we won enough games in that, we went close again. But I think it gave us enough food for thought to go, no, I think we can play this way more consistently over 10 months of season, because you do have to take into account how you're going to play the whole season if you can, and recruit for that. And I feel we have recruited that.
So it must give you confidence that the squad know exactly how this team like to approach games and how you want the team to play. And so it's not a case of sort of, as you're going along, trying to mould people into positions or into a way of playing, is it? Because they know from day one.
Yeah, but we're still moulding them, and we still had to do that because you're bringing players from other clubs that had a different way of playing, slightly different formation or different philosophy and so forth. I think we had to remind the players that played in that game, this is how we did it. So there was a lot of analysis early on in pre-season, clips from the end of last season, but I wanted to try and steer away from that and use the players here now rather than players that were playing last season. But initially this is the idea how we want to play and so forth. So we did that, but we moved quickly onto our analysis of our pre-season games. The first couple of games we didn't have enough from those games. They didn't really work out that way, but certainly at the back end of the pre-season it's been the style of play we want to play. We saw that against Sunderland, I think, really well. It came across. But it's constant reminders of players, constant encouragement, constant sort of. You need to give them the confidence to play that way as well. But we want to be a progressive team, an aggressive team. I think in and out of possession, we don't want to just keep the ball for keeping the ball's sake. We want to create opportunities to score. We want to put the opposition under pressure, and I think we saw that in the Sunderland game, and we need to see it more often when the league starts.